I'm at an upcoming listing that I have that's about to hit the market in about a month here in Mound. And I wanted to give you a little bit of insight on listing preparations. And that could be a whole range of things, but I think this house is a good example of various things that need addressing before we list it, because this property hasn't been occupied in several months. So the first thing we're dealing with is the electricity actually isn't on. So one thing that's actually more important than you might think is to make sure that all the electrical appliances and light bulbs and everything are working properly. So that needs to be addressed. I have a note into the seller to get the electricity turned on, and we're going to come back and just walk through everything and make sure everything's in good order. The next thing we'd like to address is the staging aspect of it. So as we look over here in the main living room, this furniture actually fits the space really well. The color, the style, the size and everything is perfect for this living room. So I'm actually going to recommend that all of this furniture stay. However, we have some personal items on the mantle. I'm going to recommend those get removed. We've got this glass table up front here on this Persian rug up front. I'm going to recommend that these get removed because these don't quite fit the style, the slightly more contemporary style that the rest of the home is. This dining room set goes well, but I'm going to have the professional stager swap out this carpet with something that it goes more closely, again, with the style of the furniture. Here we have a second living room, and this furniture fits the style well, but again, the Persian rug, it's a personal choice, but it doesn't quite look the best color scheme and style-wise that the rest of the house is, specifically the furniture, so we're going to have that swapped out. This little eating kitchen table and chair set is going to remain, but as you can see, they have things like dead flowers here. Those are going to have to go away. So we're going to go room by room and figure out what of the owner's furniture should remain, what should be moved around, and what should be removed completely, so that we know what pieces to augment with the stager to match the style and everything and put the interior of the home in its best light. So once we figure out what we're doing with staging, now we need to address some of the fixes and repairs that need to be done. And this is common with pretty much any listing. You're going to have an amount of little leaks and squeaks, a little bit of caulk here, a little bit of paint touch up and spackle there that you're going to have to address. And this house is no exception. So let's get into those. So I'm here in the kitchen living room area, and as you can see right above here, there is a leak from a toilet that the base is a little loose, and just recently that started leaking, so we've got a plumber that's going to come to correct that. Once that's fixed, the plumbing leak that is, then we have to fix the hole that they're going to cut to fix the leak. So then we've got some cosmetic work that is going to need to be repaired. Now, once we go out here to the patio area, we have another leak that is coming from the balcony up here. Now this is not a water leak, but this is a failure in the drainage system of the balcony. So you've got a deck up there, and water goes to a pan underneath the floorboards, and that pan is supposed to drain, and there's an issue there where it's not quite draining the way it needs to be. So we have to have a deck expert come and address that. And then the painter that's going to fix the hole in the ceiling from the plumbing repair is also going to address this. Now let's look to the exterior. As you can see behind me, this is a huge lot, a beautiful lot that backs up to a golf course. And you have all these oak trees back there. You have a nice huge field, but as soon as you look closer, this looks like a house that's been vacant for a couple months. You can see the beds are full of weeds. You've got some overgrowth, you've got just a bunch of stuff that needs to be addressed. So as is typical, you gotta call the landscaper to get everything outside looking right and tight. Everything needs to be put in its best light, best foot forward, so when the photos are taken and when it goes out to the world, it looks the absolute best it can. So we've got a landscaper lined up to roll up their sleeves and get a lot of work done out here. Next, we've got this pool. Now, this used to be a beautiful pool. In fact, this pool is only a few years old, if you can believe it, and it has this beautiful brand new decking and patio around it. But as you can see, this pool has not been maintained for at least a few months. We're just coming out of winter, so they haven't used it in a while. They maintained the pool up until about 3 months ago, and then when they left the home, they canceled the maintenance for the pool. This is something I never recommend you do because it's more expensive to do catch-up work on your pool maintenance than it is just to maintain it as it should. But here we are. So we've got to get the pool guy to come by, all the equipment shut off, so nothing is, the skimmer isn't going, the filter, the pump, nothing's been working. So we have to get all that checked out. We need to get the filter swapped out. We need to get this pool drained, cleaned, and then filled back up and get all the pH levels where they should be. But the pool is a must. I mean, this goes without saying, but you need to have the pool looking pristine when it's listing time. So once we're done with all those items, we're gonna go over everything with a fine-tooth comb. Make sure there are no leaks, no squeaks, no little details that a handyman needs to touch up. This is going to ensure that when buyers come in and see the home, that they don't have any concerns that there's anything that they're gonna have to do. This is a beautiful home, and apart from the recent neglect, it was in great condition. Everything's working perfectly. Got a brand new roof on it, newer windows, newer doors. In fact, the renovations were just completed about 1.5 years ago. So it has a lot going for it. We want to show buyers it in its best light. So once that long checklist of all these little items that need to be addressed is complete, I'm gonna have the whole house professionally clean. Staging is gonna come in here to add the final few details, and we're gonna be ready for photos and then ready to go on the market. So that's just a little bit of how the pre-listing process goes and what is involved in getting the house from I think I want to sell it to on the market. I'll show you the after to see how the house has gone from what you see now to the final presentation that'll go before all the buyers. And I hope you can appreciate the transition and the final product.